they would kick a small child.
Oh, I didn't know my phone should be charged.
Shit together there.
Hello everybody, to episode 7 of Simple Politics. I'm Patrick.
I'm Andrew.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Steve.
Yeah, you should turn up your volume there, you quiet bitch.
Who, me? Oh.
Yeah, you're Andy.
No, the other Andy.
Yeah, the other Andy we have in the room.
Okay, how's that?
That's better.
Alright, good.
By the time you get it right.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is our first episode since our last one in December. A lot of stuff has happened.
Over a month.
Getting close to a month and a half, 2 months almost. But anyway, so we've got a lot to talk about. First of all, for those of us under a rock, Biden's president. The conservatives are already blaming him for shit that wasn't exactly his fault. Secondly...
Yeah, it's already begun. Day 2 in office.
Yep, and we had a huge Capitol riot, which is a mess in itself, which most people don't realize was actually more sinister than most people want to admit. In fact, I'll be 100% honest. I mean, everyone at first kind of people like me kind of joked about it, saying that, oh, it wasn't as big of a deal as everyone thought it was. It was just a bunch of random people. But no, there were people there to hurt people. There was this one.
Go to the Capitol protest first, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
First topic.
Yeah, let's talk about that first.
Capitol protest. Well, I mean, in every sense of the word, it's a coup. I mean, that's exactly what it is. All those people should be tried. All the senators and mayors and anyone who decided to back them, tell them to do it, should also face consequences. Like I said to you guys way before this, this was just kind of almost like testing the water to see what was going to be the punishment of this failure. And now we know it's not serious. So what's to stop them from really doing it again when there is no repercussion? You tell a kid not to do something and then he goes and does it and you don't yell at him or anything. What's to deter him from redoing said thing?
Yeah, I agree with that. There should be punishment laid down, but there probably won't.
A lot of these people who were supporting this rioting, they're not the smartest people either. You'll see them on Twitter saying, we're going to do this, or saw people like, what's that bitch's name? Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Yeah, where she was like condoning it completely. She's like, yeah, we should be doing this. That's batshit insane. She's batshit insane.
Oh, she's batshit insane by all means. The Parkland shooting survivors, she actually went up to them once and said, "You're a bunch of young kids being used by the left."
Yeah, she said something worse just not even a full 2 days ago.
Yeah, she's just... I keep telling people this, and people won't listen. There are people worse than Donald Trump who already have validity, who already have the lens on them, and are already getting popularity. And at this point...
Exactly, and that's what makes this coup so dangerous, is the fact that they saw how it meant nothing to fail, and you're going to have these worse nut jobs attempted again. Her latest statement was she's blaming the Jews on the California forest fires.
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, she said they're using lasers.
Yeah, the space lasers.
The Jews are using space lasers.
Oh my god.
Now, the average person is going to laugh and say, well, that's just, batshit crazy like she is. But there's also some problems with those statements. It's very anti-Semitic. It's just going to lead to more hate. And the fact that she says this, she's a goddamn adult saying something like that seriously? That should be a person who can't be in office. If you say something like that, you shouldn't have any position of power anywhere. You can't even be a manager of McDonald's if you're saying Jew lasers from space are causing forest fires.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. She should be trench coated.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just a lot of ignorant people that still vote for that crap.
Yeah, I know.
And she was unopposed. The Democrat dropped out of the race a few weeks before last year's election and moved. And so she walked right into that seat, basically.
I know, and that's insane because you could have took a mannequin from J.C. Penney's and said, okay, this is going to be the Democratic nominee, and it still would have been a better choice. A mannequin is more responsible than her.
Where is she from exactly?
Georgia.
It depends on what part of Georgia she's from. But
Andy, you've never been to Georgia.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. I will be 100% honest. I really don't know Georgia that well, but I mean, they did.
It's weird too because she has an education at the University of Florida too. It's wow, man, that's a failed college education right there.
I mean,
yeah, she does have a lot of far-right QAnon conspiracy theories.
Yeah.
13th Congressional District of Georgia and whatnot.
I mean, it's kind of I mean, what did Kevin McCarthy say? Oh, I'm going to talk to her. No, you're not. Just stop lying. You're going to be she gets attention. She gets, far left or far right people to vote for you. You're not going to talk to her. You're going to let her keep doing the shit that she's doing. And I mean, Kevin McCarthy went to go see Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago already.
I'm afraid to see her campaign finance reports next month. I want to see if she's been raising money off of this newfound fame of hers. If we get into, I think the first campaign finance report is due January 31st. That'd be the first month of this year.
5 days ago,
I'm nervous to see
Marjorie
how much money she's raised.
She came out and said this is apparently in 2018, 2019, she was indicated for executing prominent Democrats before even running for Congress. She was saying stuff like a bullet to the head would be quicker.
Yeah. Well, I think somebody said that and then she liked it is what happened.
Oh, she said it. She was the one to say it.
Oh, she said it? Oh, I thought she just hit the like button on Twitter or Facebook.
No, she's just a crazy bitch. I don't understand what's going on in Georgia. Oh my God, but that's how these Capitol riots happen, though. You have people like this, and then you have all these other idiots eat their shit. I mean, Trump has a lot to blame in the Capitol riots too. I mean, he 100% provoked it as well. He's 100% not innocent in any of this. He should be, tried for treason for everything he's done.
No, he definitely should. I'm surprised that he hasn't fled to Russia yet.
I don't think Putin's going to give him any cover. I think Putin's kind of done with him.
Yeah, but I thought that I I thought for a second that we might see, you know, some Republicans actually want to, vote for the impeachment, but we're not going to get enough. Like, we only got 10 in the
It's sad
House.
because like it's all batshit insane, and I think that's the problem with Biden is that he's trying to work with them. There's no working with them at this point. We
Yeah.
need to have them all fairly punished.
I think the Republican Party is, like
Terrorist
the
organization.
yeah, definitely
Oh.
the Marjorie Taylor Greens, the Lauren Boeberts. They are the future of the party. The Liz Cheneys, they're the past of the party.
Remember, like before Trump did leave office, when we received that very, very generous $600 stimulus check. That was a very, very generous stimulus that we received.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember when they said $600, and of course everyone's like, well, that's bullshit. And then even Trump came out and said, oh, we deserve more. And like every other stupid Republican who said, yeah, that's that bitch's Nancy Pelosi's fault, but we only got $600. Then they called their bluff, and everyone was for the $2,000, but Mitch McConnell was still against it. He still doubled down and said $600 is what you're gonna get. A damn old turtle.
I just really quickly I want to mention I'm a man cursed with empathy, and I think especially like boomers and even a couple of Gen Xers, they're hoping to God that there's some amount of normalcy. There's some amount of normalcy left. There isn't. I'm sorry. At this point, it's either just either you stand for sanity or you don't.
That's why this whole attack was on Trump's whole party was we got to be against science because we don't understand it, so that's pretty scary. So let's hate everything about science. That's all it was. If they don't understand it, we hate it. We disagree with it. It doesn't exist. And that sets everybody back.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a very, very side note about that stimulus bill. There was also like anti-vaping legislation put onto that bill.
Why?
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't write it.
Well, what was the anti-vaping stuff on it?
So a lot of it is going to hurt mostly if you order vape stuff by the mail. They're trying to make it where you can't receive vape products or vaping things themselves through mail or packaging. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why that was attached to that bill.
That's the most.
I also not understand why this became like a thing again, but I'm guessing tobacco has to have some sort of say in this. I can only imagine those lobbyists are still trying to fight vaping. Vaping's definitely winning against tobacco right now.
Yeah.
Because that's the most important. That's the most important thing to worry about right now. Vaping.
Well, true. It just came out of nowhere. I mean, it was definitely something that they figure, okay, no one's going to pay attention to it. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
And tobacco lobbyists, I mean, it makes you wonder what is the future of tobacco even, because those companies kind of die with, I would say, even millennials.
I mean,
like the younger millennials and the Gen Xers and stuff, they're vaping's kind of the thing now. I don't think you're going to see cigarettes be as big as they ever were ever again.
I mean, when I was in college in New York, vaping was just starting. And even
exactly,
then,
it just became. But now it's like it's everywhere. You have like all the little Juul pods now, and I get like some of it can sound appealing to kids, at the same time, it's like I don't think we're going to see cigarette boom like in like 25 years. I don't think there's going to be some new everyone smoking cigarettes again.
Yeah.
No.
You're not going to see
I
it.
guess it disappoints Andy. We all know Andy loves to just put cigarettes out on the homeless. He doesn't give them money.
Yes,
That's what you do in New York.
I just loved it. Yeah, I loved doing that. Me and my friends, we did it all the time. We played laser tag with homeless people.
Oh, Andy, come on, bro. You're a horrible person.
Oh my god.
You're being sarcastic, right, Andy?
No, I'm being serious. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I've
Steve.
seen him do it. Homeless people would always ask, "Do you have like some spare change?" And Andy's like, "I'll do one better for you. This is how you'll remember me." He just put the cigarette right on the forehead.
Oh my god. Oh Jesus.
Yeah, but anyway, the Republican Party, I think it's basically it's going full on crazy. I mean, it's the Republican Party I'm used to. Like, this has been happening for 20 years. I remember, we all remember Lou Barletta running on his anti-Hispanic campaign.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's
We remember that. I remember, Obama getting called the N-word all the time by people. This is the Republican Party, and for people who are surprised at it, this is the Republican Party that I've always known. The Mitt Romney Republican Party was a far-off Republican Party that, I don't think really existed much. This Republican Party that we're seeing now,
I would give my
is-
left nut for the Republican Party of 9 years ago when Mitt Romney was running for president. My God, that Republican Party seems like almost slightly slightly sane compared to what we were doing now.
We're done with
Bill
those
Maher,
things. They're going batshit insane.
yeah,
They're just reaching for anything they can grab to now at this point.
Yeah, I mean the Republican Party, even of 9 years ago with Mitt Romney, Mitt Romney was an exception to. I mean, the Republican Party was, even back then, was still bad. The Republican Party I miss is the Republican Party of like the Gerald Ford Republican Party. That's the party
They don't really give a shit about any Republican Party. They're all...
I would give my left nut for that Republican Party.
I'm glad to know that you're trying to give away your nuts.
Biggest reason why I would want to do that is listen.
You really want a definite Republican Party.
Stop it. Listen.
It's really important. We have to have a Republican Party.
Try and listen for 20 seconds. I know that's difficult, but try and listen for 20 seconds.
Republican Party. I'll give my nuts for that any day.
Listen. The reason why is that Republican Party was a minority Republican Party that lost all the time.
good point.
That
That's
Republican
actually
Party
true.
was a Republican Party that
Well, see, we'll count the streak on how often
they lost for they were in the minority for they were in the minority for about 60 years, and
okay, well, who's going to be the next main candidate for the Republican Party to go against Biden?
I'm gonna say either Trump is gonna come back around. You're gonna have Holly.
They don't even have a clue because it's a shit show. They're a shit party full of clowns. Who knows when they will obviously win again without the help of the Electoral College and banging one out for them.
Yeah. But I think you're gonna see
That's what the Democrats are gonna do because Biden, he's already off to a pretty good start with a lot of things.
Yes, he's
do you think
surprisingly
Biden is going to give us another stimulus? Do you think that's going to try coming through, a stimulus check again, or no?
I think that, well, we'll see what happens in the Senate. The Senate is a clusterfuck. We have
Yeah,
We have
but then you
two-
also had like Ted Cruz saying, "Let the riots go. It's going to cause too much division."
Yeah, but the thing with the stimulus checks in the Senate, you have the 50-50 tie, and you're not going to get 10 Republicans to do anything. So the only thing that they're going to be able to do is they're going to have to get Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin and say, guys, listen, you got to get rid of this filibuster. Otherwise, we're going to be sitting here for 2 years. We're not going to pass anything. For whatever,
I mean, that's true.
For whatever reason, Kristen Sinema and Joe
the
Manchin.
Republicans don't want to help anybody. It's what it is. It's why they got to stop working with them. They don't want to help us.
No, and the American people aren't going to be sad if you don't work with Republicans.
No.
You know.
As far as the division goes, there's already a big division. Ted Cruz, that fat, stupid Muppet, should just shut up and understand that he's guilty. Mm-hmm. So there is no more creating a division. There is already a division. We can start healing once we throw his fat ass in prison. That's when we'll start healing, when due justice is done.
Yeah, it is to that point where people have to either be punished. It's just insane. Like, somebody has to.
They have to.
This isn't no Gerald Ford situation where...
Oh, no.
Or no, Gerald Ford Nixon, where you pardon Nixon. You just have to... somebody has to be punished for this.
Well, yeah, because that's the only way that way they don't try it again. Like I said, it's not going to create more of a division. They get what's coming to them.
Yeah.
I will say, though, Biden's inauguration day, didn't they say it had more people turn out than Trump?
I don't know.
Really? Even in the pandemic?
I don't know.
How does that happen?
Maybe tuned in on TV, but I don't know about actually there.
Probably not there, but probably views.
Good. I'm surprised Trump hasn't brought that up yet. Oh, look at me.
Is he going to bring it up on Twitter?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, there is one thing. I'm sorry, I forgot to mention this. Parler is likely going to be dead because they were using Amazon Web Services, and Amazon Web Services terminated the contract. This is something I want to know. Bill Maher brought this up on one of his shows. I mean, you know, we used to have separate feeds. Now we have separate social media posts, or separate social media platforms now. I mean, that's one reason why I think the division is going to get even worse. Whether it's Parler or Signal, I believe it's called. That's another reason why the division in this country is going to get even worse, because we went from having separate social media feeds to, now we're going to have separate social media platforms altogether. But Parler, thankfully, is likely going to be dead.
It is dead. It already stopped receiving support. All that information is now like fair game to use. So that's kind of funny that, you know, they're so afraid of being tracked, but all their information is now out there. So apparently Biden's inauguration draws a bigger television audience than Trump's.
Good.
But only makes sense. Because, you know, fuck Trump. So there's that. A great thing about that inauguration, though, the Bernie memes. Man, what a great way to start 2021. The Bernie memes are amazing.
Yes.
Those
are a great thing, because he was able to sell, I guess, and make money for.
He was able to promote, you know, pretty much a small business, essentially. You can call it that. But they used materials, and he was able to make money and donate it. So, I mean, it was a really good cause, and the memes were great. You know, those are the nice memes we want to see, where it's just it's funny. It's not hurting anybody. Not like the Trump memes, where everything about it is literally a tumor growing somewhere.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know, but Biden hasn't been in office obviously super long, but he's already done, you know, a pretty big thing. You know, so we do have transgender allowed in the military again.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that's a great thing. Because I don't give a fuck if they want to be in the military at all. You know, if they want to be in the military, fucking go for it. I don't care. I don't understand how people can make a claim on why that's bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the inclusivity obviously is a good thing. You know what? I mean, I wouldn't call my family a military family, but we do have a couple of family members in the military, and
they hate it. They're upset.
I wouldn't say they hate it. I'd say they're kind of indifferent about it. And
they want to be like those typical military people where they'll kind of turn on their own and, you know, murder them or rape them, like the military is very prone to doing to a lot of its own.
Well, no, see, here's the thing that most people don't realize, okay? When it comes to the military, they'll
cover up a lot of their own crimes. See students out to fight another war.
I mean, the other thing is
eat crayons for the taste.
The military, something that most people realize, okay, there's this thing called the Military Code of Justice, okay, and in the Military Code of Justice, sodomy, in other words, the act of two men having sex with each other, is still considered illegal. So, and the only way you can change that is through an act of Congress and the president signing it into law. So it doesn't matter.
It happens anyway. We know it's happening. I mean, I don't understand. Like I said, I just don't understand why it's a big deal. Because I don't personally care. If they want to be in the military, good for them. You know what I mean? Let them do whatever the fuck they want.
If you are, you know, LGBTQ plus and you really want to join the military, unless of course if you get a good job in the military, which is highly.
I'm just saying the fact is they want to serve their country, and then you also have people complain about that. And people complain about why pro-choice is bad, and then yet they give you another shitty ass solution. The GOP doesn't know what they want. They're just barking at a goddamn tree.
Yeah, I mean,
really not a big issue. But let them be in it. Everyone who's ever told me that it was bad in this past week, I can only understood it from the fact of their brain had to be the smoothest fucking brain I've ever known.
But I mean, if you want to join the military, if you want to serve your country,
go ahead.
But it's not the best idea.
I see more,
especially if you're somebody who's smart. If you are somebody who's actually smart, try and get a scholarship.
I see more people fighting against this. I see more people fighting against Trump being banned from Twitter and us getting a better stimulus in healthcare. If people care more about Trump being banned from Twitter than about healthcare.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
I'm glad Trump got banned from Twitter. Fuck him. Twitter has the right to ban him. Wasn't the Republicans who said that one bakery had the entire right to not make a cake for the gay couple because it was their business?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's a...
Well, it's the same thing. Trump just has to understand he's essentially like a gay cake, and he's not wanted by Twitter.
I actually have a theory that Trump might be a closeted gay person and just doesn't want to admit it.
Well, we don't know about that.
Oh, I think the whole Republican Party really is. I mean, when I take a look at some of...
Oh, there's definitely some in there. I mean, look at Steve, the neoliberals trying to get all hot and heavy with men.
Well, when you look at the Republican Party, you have nothing but guys are like the first thing they think about when they wake up in the morning is gay sex, and that's the last thing they think about when they go to bed.
So then what do you think about when you first wake up in the morning.
So then, well, usually work because that's usually what I have to do.
And then the
But
sex comes after?
for them to think about gay stuff so much that they're constantly
Because
railing against it.
they're
To me,
repressed. They don't get
like
to
they're
enjoy
all.
their freedom of gay sex like you, Steve. You're free. You're allowed to do what you want.
Oh,
You're not
God.
repressed by the GOP.
So anyway, don't know where that came from, but anywho,
You're free. You don't
the
have the
Republic.
repression of the GOP.
Anyway, will you stop? And the like Google like some of the Republican
Gay
men
sex,
and
the GOP.
just take a look at Matt Getz and Rick Santorum and all these guys, and
What are we
just to
looking
me
at? What are we supposed to be
it
looking at?
just says, oh, and Mike Pence too. It just says they have I am a
Their OnlyFans
closeted
account?
gay like written right on their forehead. That's
Are you
what it
about to
says.
link us their OnlyFans
Basically.
account now?
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I don't think Mike Pence is a closeted gay person.
No. I mean, I can understand why some people get that way about, like, some of them probably were that way and then they were shock treated or told you can't be different. So definitely some of them do seem repressed in that way. But that's the good old GOP. You're not living the GOP life if you're not repressing everybody you can.
The only Republican who ever came off to me as closeted something was Rick Santorum.
Ted Cruz? Okay.
Ted Cruz maybe. But yeah, Rick Santorum is the only one.
I mean, he tried looking like a manly man with that really bad scruff he was trying to grow, and he went back to being a soft baby face bitch again.
Wait, he shaved his beard finally?
I don't know about finally. Wasn't he always a soft baby face bitch?
Well, he still. I don't know. The last time I looked, he did have that scruff beard, but
I thought he had that in.
I guess he does.
I thought he had that at the.
He's still a soft baby bitch boy. Okay, that's the way it is. I mean, he might be a bottom. Can't rule that out.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta love how the GOP was gonna say, don't vote for Biden. He's gonna do nothing when he's a president. He's been around forever and done nothing. And then he's in the office. Stop him. He's doing too much now. That's
I saw
the
that.
GOP is one walking paradox after another.
Well, I saw that one meme on Reddit on political humor. It's just Fox News waiting for Biden to get elected. It's like, and then the bottom picture is like 4,000 people a day are getting killed, and the liberals are getting the vaccines first. And then the guy in the bottom right corner or bottom left corner is like, the liberals are getting the vaccines first. And it's his daughter behind him. We believe in vaccines now. So, yeah. I just don't get that kind of cognitive dissonance. I just really don't. It's just really...
Well, neither do they. They don't have riches on the brain to understand it. They're just doing what they're told. You just throw food on the ground to eat it like a chicken.
But, well, speaking of people who don't, I already see this happening. I already see liberals going to brunch already. They're already happy. And it's pissing me off. It's like, guys, come on. There are people already worse than Trump appearing in TV.
Oh, yeah, but see, they don't need to worry about it now. That's the problem. They don't need to worry about it now. It's out of sight, out of mind. They're done. And that's really the biggest problem with the Democratic Party as a whole. Is that's why, these 4 years are going to be important at how it's going to shape. Are we going to see a Democratic president for the next decade plus, or are the Democrats going to drop the ball really bad at the end of this 4-year term?
They're going to drop the ball really bad, especially. I mean, Biden nor anyone in his campaign has ever confirmed this, but there was that whole rumor that Biden's only going to have
Not
one
him
term.
being done after
And-
4 and done.
Yeah, and first of all, okay,
It's
so
possible.
then you've got
But
Kamala Harris who's going to
It
run.
depends on who they want to put in next. I
Well,
mean,
If you
if
got
they have a good
Kamala,
option, then sure.
the only
Well-
person who's a good option is, I guess, Ocasio-Cortez, but she would definitely have to have a moderate as vice president, and then
Yeah, it's
after
just-
that,
The Democratic
you're gonna
Party
have-
is going to have to really think
don't
about what
forget-
they're going to do in these 4 years.
Well, here's one way where they could, not have a one big thing they could do is the House of Representatives can pass Medicare for all. If the House of Representatives passes Medicare for all,
That's a big thing.
that would be a big thing.
For
They,
this
they,
term,
they push all they have to do is put that into the court for the Senate to do, and then they have to force the hand of the two moderate senators that are pussyfooting on filibuster reform. And another thing that the Democratic Party could do is it actually isn't with the leadership. It could come from the ground up. Because one thing that I've noticed in the Republican Party is the Trumpism, the right-wing nonsense, that came from the ground up. That did not come top down. That came bottom up. You had right-wing lowlifes going out and standing in front of their polls, okay, on election day, holding signs that said Joe Schmo for Republican Committee, pro-Trump, right on the thing. And guess what? They got enough write-in votes to get elected to their Republican committees. Stuff like that needs to happen on the Democratic side. You need progressives to.
Well, yeah.
You need to
see, that's why I don't have a lot of faith in the Democratic Party.
But that apathy is the reason why the Democratic Party doesn't have the left-wing strength
It sucks.
as the right-wing party because people
They're
just
all
say,
unified idiots. Right? The right-wing party are all unified idiots.
the right-wing,
the barking.
the right-wing went from the bottom up.
You're like, oh,
The
come on,
right-wing-
leftists, people join us.
The left wing is not. I don't know if they'll have. I hope they will. I hope they'll have the same tenacity as the right wing does. But we'll see.
Well, no, because honestly, Democrats have been taking progressives for granted way too long. You know, they're catering to all you neoliberals.
Well,
that's just a terrible problem.
Well, I don't know why you call me a neoliberal. I didn't. I support Medicare for all, minimum wage increase. We need a union in every workplace. That's not a neoliberal. A neoliberal is somebody who all you have to do is you give them their gay marriage and their abortion and they don't fucking care about anything else. That's a neoliberal. But anyway, what needs to happen...
They just want their gay marriage and abortion. So
Absolutely.
those neoliberals.
Absolutely. So what needs to happen is the left-wingers, pro-Bernie people, progressive people, democratic socialists need to start running for their local and state Democratic Party committees that are not difficult. They're not even difficult to win. You literally wake up in the morning.
How come you're not doing that? What's stopping you from beginning your journey?
Well, maybe because I there's nothing stopping me. I actually am on the Luzerne County Democratic Committee. But anyway.
Oh wow!
So hold on.
Hold on. Let him speak.
Shut the fuck up for 2 fucking seconds.
Yes. Let him speak.
Christ! Like, shut the fuck up. Now, you wake up in the fucking morning, you write your name in, and you get elected because nobody else fucking runs for these positions. State committee's a little more difficult. You need 100 signatures in Pennsylvania. Okay. That's what needs to happen. Just flaking out and registering with as an independent or something other than the Democratic Party isn't going to get the job done. The right-wing stuff came from the ground up. The left-wing stuff's got to do the same. If people are just going to flake and say, oh, fuck the Democratic Party, then what's going to happen is in 2 years we're going to end up with depending on how the elections go, we might end up losing the House of Representatives, and
See, that point went way over your head.
we'll end up with another miserable 8 years as with Republicans in charge of Congress, and we can't have that.
That point went over your head. See, it's easy for all them alt-right people to rise up. They have this shared agenda. They hate everything that is different and are racist and they're homophobic. That's the whole alt-right movement, is that they're not too smart. They don't have deeper thinking. The leftists, they definitely don't have some of the smartest people that sit around the leftist area either, but they're not completely unified with the Democrats, because the Democrats continue to choke. Okay, you know what I mean? Like Eli Manning beating Tom Brady, okay? Them Democrats could be like Tom Brady going 18-0 and still choke it to Eli, okay? That's just what the Democrats love to do. They build up your hope and then they lose.
Yeah, I'm not. Well, see, here's the problem, okay? And I've said this forever, and I know some socialists might disagree with me on this. I've always said this. Actually, there's this one YouTube channel. I'm gonna put it as a graphic on the fucking thing. Socialists and liberals already agree on certain things. In fact, most liberals are already socialist. They just don't realize it. I already think that there really is no reason why you can't call yourself a liberal and a socialist. Some socialists might disagree with me. I say, fuck you.
Yeah, but okay, I think it also comes down to, like I said, I mean, not everyone on the left is also smart. I mean, some of them...
Yeah, you got a point on that. No, not everyone on the left is smart.
I mean, yeah, I mean, there's definitely some people out there that just think that, no, I don't like this. I'm going to be stubborn as someone on the right. And I think that's also a problem, too. People don't think a step ahead. It's why you don't play chess with them, because it's just taking candy from a baby.
Well, that's the other thing, and we've talked about this before. The left doesn't understand how power works. It's the reason why...
No.
I'm going to rant about this forever. I love The Hill. I love The Rising. But Crystal Ball said something that pissed me off. She was talking about how Elizabeth Warren isn't this Treasury Secretary. You fucking moron! The reason why she's not Treasury Secretary is because she can't get taken out of the Senate, because if she is, then the Republican governor there is going to appoint a Republican. They don't understand how power fucking works. And it drives me up a wall. Yeah,
they make their moves on a very quick impulse.
As the colonel from the A-Team said, 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead. That's a plan.
I mean, really what we want to do is you want to keep putting yourself
now into I'm fired up, damn it.
Yeah, you need to keep putting yourself into a position where you need your opponent to constantly be reactive. You want them to constantly be reactive to your movements. Once they start being pro-reactive, then you're on the defense of being reactive to their movements.
Right.
Like, Biden stopping the pipeline is a big thing. Him joining the Paris Agreement again is a big thing. It's now going to shuffle around on how does the GOP go about this? Because obviously the GOP doesn't want us to be in the Paris Agreement. Obviously they don't want the pipeline to stop. But Biden did both. So now they're going to have to try to essentially divide their options here and decide which one do we bite the bullet on. Right. And that's what you need to keep on doing. You need to keep on putting pressure on them. You can't let up. That way they don't gain footing. Then they don't turn the tables again.
Yeah.
I mean, another big thing. Right now, we have the GOP in our hands again with this whole GameStop thing.
God.
All those hedge funds doing the shorts, trying to essentially just, crash businesses so they can make their money on the loans, the hypothetical money going around. And then you see them, how they get so upset about how people are trying to treat it like a casino when they've done it the entire time as well.
Yeah.
They're upset that it's no longer a rich person doing it.
Yeah, and Robinhood got caught with their pants down, stopping trading.
If anything,
which
it just shows like...
I don't know much about the legality of that, but apparently what Robinhood did
it definitely shows that there's no free open market like the Republicans try preaching about. I have seen some Republicans hate what they're doing.
It's government-supported open
it's wrong.
market. It's neoliberal government-supported market. That's what it is. There is no free capitalism like some conservatives want to try and admit that there is, or are trying to.
Exactly, but this is your smoking gun to it, because by them freezing, by them dictating what you can do and how much quantity you can get, there is no longer a level playing field. Not that there really ever was, but now it's clear as day, right there, saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, you're poor. You got to stop now."
Yeah.
Well, what's funny is that a lot of Republicans are now calling, all of a sudden, for the past 8 years, they've been railing against regulations. Now, all of a sudden, they want to stop what happened, what people did. They want to be able to stop that from happening, which is funny.
Yeah. And that's why, if you're a Democrat, roll with it. You got to take this moment. You got to take the momentum right now and go with it, because this is actually a thing that some Republicans are actually agreeing with, that it was completely wrong and completely unjust, and that's perfect. That means we need to really capitalize on this and start punishing a lot of those shithead billionaires. People saying, "Don't you feel bad about them losing money?" Fuck no. I mean, I'm just going to laugh harder at the fact that billionaires are losing money. I don't give a fuck. We were given $600 during a fucking goddamn pandemic. I sorry that these billionaires can't afford a goddamn extra yacht. Maybe they should learn to budget better. How about they don't get avocado toast anymore?
Well, that's another thing. Okay, so there was this one economist who said it outright, and said it in a way that is very offensive. A lot of businesses, and there was going to be some sort of economic crash. The pandemic just sped it up. And it's like they said, I know a lot of business owners will be pissed off about this, but if you can't afford to pay somebody a living wage, you shouldn't have a business, number one. Number two, a lot of businesses have way too much debt, way too much debt, and they shouldn't have been a business in the first place. They were just a way to make quick money. And I know a lot of business owners will be pissed off about that, but it's true. Yeah.
And, it's a shame that I don't understand how people can, look at something like the minimum wage increase. They hate the idea of that minimum wage increase. And every person I've ever talked to that says, "Oh, if we raise the minimum wage, then prices are already going to go up."
They've already gone up.
There's a person, and you see them posted even, and it circulates. The image circulates all day about how much like a typical meal at Wendy's cost back like 10 years ago. And then you take that same meal, and it's already doubled. So don't tell me that if you increase minimum wage by double, that things are already going to double. Because things are already doing that.
Right.
A big factor to all of this as well was we're on a very short clock now, because we decided, let's not increase minimum wage with the times. So instead of increasing minimum wage by like $1, we continue to skip that. So now we're at the point where we need to make a major jump. That makes it really, really hard. We keep on pushing things off, and now we're putting ourselves on a very short clock. Like the global climate change issue with all the emission regulations. If we just did it baby steps for over a decade already, we wouldn't be faced with this task now we have to do a huge amount in a very short time.
Yeah. Because
that's huge and that's very hard to do. But if we were just keeping pace with what scientists were saying and giving people like a fair rate to live by, this wouldn't seem like such a scary change. But now it's radical because it's the only way to get things done. There's no way some people can't get by on $15 minimum wage. But that's still not true with the times even yet. I mean, there are already jobs that are paying that, and they're still struggling to get by.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to do it now because we have to do something, because jobs are still paying jack shit as well. and they want you to feel thankful that you have a job that's paying you jack shit. All these people that we were supposed to call heroes during this goddamn pandemic are back to, you're a fucking burger flipper, shut up. That's what it came down to.
Yeah. Yeah, it. I mean, minimum wage should have been $15 an hour at least 5 or 10 years ago.
Exactly.
And
like, if we were just keeping
right
up with
now
the
it's-
time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
like,
I
if our
mean,
minimum wage right now, let's say our minimum wage last year, let's say, hypothetically say it was $14.50. And then they say, okay, our minimum wage needs to be like $15.25. That's not a crazy jump. You know what I mean? But now we're at a point where we're doubling our minimum wage because we need to.
yeah, and we have to. Yeah, and well, I mean, if you look at the minimum wage when adjusted for inflation to equal $20, the minimum wage was the highest back during the Nixon administration. When adjusted for inflation, you know, the early 1970s minimum wage was worth like $11 to what in $20, and ever since then it started to go down. And then you had Ronald Reagan, who kept minimum wage in the dirt, and then you had it finally went up a little bit during the Clinton years, and then finally the Bush administration raised it, and then the Republicans just put the brakes. The Republicans just put the brakes on everything during the Obama administration, and now we have to
deal with it.
And so we're dealing with it now. So the $15 an hour minimum wage increase was proposed. What's going to happen at that? It's not even supposed to take hold.
The Republicans leave a pile of shit, and they're saying, okay, make the best of it. And then when you try to do anything, they scrutinize you on everything they do. This whole problem stemmed from greedy rich people, some that are on the left, but also a lot of just billionaires who don't give a fuck, and they're in the pockets of a lot of the Republicans.
Yep, but we'll see what happens as far as that goes. I think the biggest thing that I think the House should take the bull by the horns, since the Democrats have it. Get the $15 minimum wage passed. Get Medicare for all passed. I don't care if the Biden administration wants them to do it or not. They don't have to. He's the president. They're the legislative branch. If they want to pass a bill, okay, they can pass a fucking bill. So that's what they should do.
Yeah. It's coming down to this point where it's not even a radical idea. It's not even like we're going to be the first country in the world to do this.
Right.
It's just ridiculous that it almost seems like we're going to be like one of the last.
Well, minimum wage. Okay, so first of all, minimum wage in almost every single other country, which this is kind of funny and this is kind of interesting. So, I believe it was 1982, Congress has technically never raised like the individual salary of every single congressman. They just said, okay, every so many years, it's going to go up. And they basically don't have the vote. It goes up every so often, every couple of years.
Yeah.
In every other country, what they do is they do some sort of calculation to basically say, okay, how much money can you live on in order to not only survive, but to basically save up and live and have a comfortable life. And I believe it's Finland, a minimum wage worker has already like 30 days paid vacation because it's mandated by the government.
And that's why
That's
it's
the
so
thing.
ridiculous.
It's
They
so
expect us
stupid.
to work a shit job with no real vacation, no real healthcare benefits because our healthcare sucks. And we're supposed to just be grateful for that. And yet, you have all these other countries that are just doing way better. Steve died.
Yeah, Steve, what are you
He's
doing?
back. I'm back. What are you talking about?
Yeah, to me, it's like, but it also goes back to the whole student loan forgiveness. Like, to say like I had to pay it, you should have to. You should also have to. That's a terrible argument.
Well, that is a stupid argument. It always has been. You should always be working to make the next generation's life easier.
Better. That's the way it should be.
Better. And it's just one of those things where people don't like to understand that.
But that's,
They
that's
think it has to do with character building, which is a dumb idea.
That just you just become a complete jackass to say I had to deal with it. So did you. So that means we should all stop getting vaccines as babies and start letting everyone kind of get polio as kids because that's what we used to do back in the day. In fact, we should just go back to leeching because that's what they did back in the day. It's unfair to everyone else now who got to have medical. That's all that reads to me is we should have student loan forgiveness. We should have a higher minimum wage. We should have a better healthcare plan, which I'm starting to suspect now that Trump's never really going to tell us his amazing plan. Guess we're never going to know it.
Yeah, it was probably amazing. It was probably
super
now
we'll never know
awesome.
It. Who knows?
It's so unfortunate.
He kept saying he has the best plan, and he has a great plan. Yeah, now we'll never know it.
Nope.
I wonder what he's doing right now.
Golfing.
Yeah.
There was kind of an issue where apparently, like the island that Mar-a-Lago is on, people don't want him to live there, and which I can understand why. Who wouldn't? If Donald Trump was my next door neighbor, I wouldn't want him living next door to me. I would.
Imagine him just in a Speedo, like.
What made you think of a what made you think of a Speedo? Oh, Jesus Christ!
That's what everyone's doing in your backyard and around your neighbors. They're just in a bathing suit, in a Speedo, sunbathing, as you don't fix your back step as you go smoke.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, so there is, I mean, with how much there's going on in the world right now, because there seems to be this argument going on the left, which started with, it first started with the idiot Jimmy Dore, who is like, we need to do X, Y, and Z, and then a whole bunch of people got on board with them. What do you guys think is first? Obviously, besides the pandemic, or I think pandemic first, climate change next. Obviously, get relief out to people who need it. But after that, I mean, I say Medicare for all. Some people want to go even further than that. But I think one thing that most people don't realize is Social Security. So I'm about to screw up my years in history, so apologies for that. I believe...
Nope, no forgiveness here.
I believe Social Security was signed somewhere in the early 40s, and Medicare was in the late 60s. That's a period of 20 years. So my question is if we don't get, like, will Biden be and the Democrats be a failure if within the next 2 years we don't get Medicare for all, student loan forgiveness?
No, I mean that's what you have to think like student debt relief and Medicare for all in under 2 years. That's tough. You know what I mean? Like maybe if let's say we guarantee that he had a second 4-year term, 8 years. If he doesn't get student debt relief and an increased minimum wage and Medicare for all in 8 years, he failed. He failed completely.
Really? Wow. I that's such a for all of that to happen, I mean, it
In
would
8
be
years?
in 8 years. That would be a miracle. I
No, because I feel like he can sell the minimum wage before he sells Medicare for all.
yeah, I think he could do that. Yeah,
But I mean, it's we have to look at like these first 2 years are pretty much a wash because everything he has to do is just clean up the clogged toilet that Trump caused.
yeah,
That's really what it's doing. He's got to clean up that mess first, and then he can start tackling. I think he should tackle a pandemic first. First thing right at the bat, let's start really hammering this in. We already have vaccines on the way, which Trump didn't order enough. That should also be stated.
yeah,
And then we also piggyback on top of the vaccines and pandemic is another stimulus check to help relief. And then he jumps into increased minimum wage. That should be pretty much like a fluid motion from step to step because you can clearly see point A to point B. People need money, people need help, and it would only help people survive and also spend more money as well. It's not like those same people are going to be like, I'm rich now, I'm going to start saving money. No, it's going to allow them potentially to save a little bit, but they're putting that money all back in. It's the same with the stimulus check. If they got that $2,000, it's still all going back in.
right. I kind of like to. I don't know that would for a minimum wage increase, Medicare for all, and student debt relief to happen in 8 years. That would be nothing short of Steve. You think that's?
I would say that would be. It depends on the Congress you get. If people flake out and say, I'm not going to vote for the Democrat because he's not progressive enough, well then you're going to end up with a miserable 8 to 10 years of having a Republican run Senate and a Republican run House of Representatives. And
if Biden were to increase minimum wage, and he's already committing towards helping global climate change by joining the Paris Agreement. If he even extends that further, that's great. If he gets us Medicare for all, and he helps reduce student debt, and even if let's say he does all that in 4 years, would you say he's the best president of all time?
Yes.
If he does that in 4 years, if he's able to do that, I mean, it would make him a candidate for it. That's for sure.
I would assume he's the best president ever. I'd assume you'd have to get a tattoo of, a portrait of Joe Biden right on your ass. Be like, yeah, that's my president.
Every time somebody's born, just brand them with a brand of Joe Biden's head.
I mean, we're gonna have to redesign Mount Rushmore and put Biden's face there.
Oh God.
Well, another thing that needs to be talked about too that I didn't write down here: Social Security. We need to start taxing all income, not just wages and not just the first $140,000 thereof, because Social Security is going to be a problem in the next 10 to 20 years. It's going to be insolvent, and
we can start just doing what I've been saying for like my entire life. Tax churches, tax religion.
Oh, here we go with that baloney.
That's how you help pay for everything.
You tax all income. So if you work for a church and you get your W-2 from a church, then you're already paying taxes on that.
No, we tax the religion. We tax all those tax shelters. That's what we're gonna do. That's how you pay for Medicare for all. Fuck the churches. I don't give a fuck if we take 10% from them. Fuck them.
Well, I think the corporations make a lot more money. The corporations make a lot more money than the churches do. I don't know.
They should also be taxed too. Fuck them all. Tax them harder even. But you're sitting there, no, don't tax my precious church. They didn't do anything.
Well, of course not.
Sexual assault, but they do other good things.
The churches, that's getting off into the weeds. I think the taxing the churches thing is
you're against the church. Don't tax the holy things that I believe in.
it's like a fool's gold. It's like trying to go after fool's gold.
All right, guys, I'm just letting you know I can't hold it in anymore. Keep talking.
They have a lot of money. They deserve to get taxed.
If you really, if you want to talk about making things solid, you're taxing the wealthy. That's what we need to go after. If somebody made $1 million this year and they did it all on capital gains, and I made $1 million this year, but I did it all on wages and salary, then we both should get taxed the same amount. And I shouldn't only the first 100. I don't know why the first $140,000 are the only amounts that are taxed on Social Security. Any goddamn income should have the Social Security tax on it. A capital gains income, wage, salary, anything. As far as taxing churches go, there are a couple of big grandiose churches. Don't get me wrong, and some churches, I think there needs to be some sort of a.
Taxing churches, always remember Joel Osteen. He should be 100% taxed.
Right. But here's the thing. So, like, if I go up to Turkey Hill right now to get an ice cream sandwich, okay, I'm going to pass off, like, a couple of rickety old churches. If you start saying tax the churches, that's what people think of. People think of you're going to tax this, like, part-time tax.
People use.
Hold on, stop. You're making people think you're gonna tax some pastor who drives a fucking school bus. Okay, that's not the same thing as Joel Osteen. So you have to tax the wealthy. If you have a wealthy pastor, then you're gonna fucking tax them. If you have
the church, the Catholic religion does not hide sexual rape and not pay taxes.
If you're going to, well, good luck on that fucking platform. Okay, good luck, getting 15% of the fucking vote in a primary or a general election.
Rather priests who rape children than get money from them.
Here's
what the church has been known to do. Protect the rapists.
We're striking out already. Tax the wealthy. That's where
like the Vatican has a shit ton of money.
Well, you see, here's the thing that most people don't realize. See, here's the problem. One, it would be hard to build in some sort of exception that would get, these mega churches taxed at the same level as these, your small Catholic pastor. Number two, yes, the Roman Catholic Church itself does have a lot of money, but what most people don't realize is the Catholic Church itself doesn't give a lot of money to its individual churches.
Because they hoard it.
Yeah,
and
they do hoard.
Overrate. That's how they avoid paying out them big bucks.
It's just, let me put it to you this way: if I had to make the decision as Congress,
tax guy, a repo man.
Yeah, as a tax person, if I had to make the decision, where do I go for more money? I'm gonna choose the corporations. I'm gonna choose. It should happen.
Tax them both. It's not A or B. Oh no, I can only have A or B. What do I do? No, you can have fucking both. You tax them both. I'm sorry that you can't think ahead. How come? Tax them both.
We should.
It's not a hard decision.
We should, but what do you think is the realistic possibility of that actually happening?
You're probably going to gain more ground fucking taxing churches than the rich, because look at Bezos. He's not even going to pay a dime.
I don't know. I think that the multi-mega rich in this country have a lot more money.
You murdered and get away with
it. They have a lot more money than churches.
Right now.
Yeah,
people just get mad at the churches because
they both
it's not even said.
Because religion is a sexual.
Oh my gosh! Hold on a second. There's sexual abuse all over the place, and the only place where they seem to care, where people seem to get mad at it, is when it happened in the churches.
Happens quite often.
I think
church seems to be against that, but yeah, that's what they do.
Because I remember people they took Joe Paterno's statue down and they had a fucking riot. Okay, nobody had a riot when people started suing churches and taking the names of sexually abusive priests off of residence halls at the University of Scranton or whatever.
Okay, you got a point
So,
about that. You do have a
so
point.
there's sexual abuse all over the place. The only reason it happened, the only reason that they got mad at the only reason why they the
I'm
only
saying
reason why they got mad at it in the church is because
taxing everybody.
the only reason they got mad at it in the church is because the church.
They fuck them all.
The only reason they got mad at it within the church is because the church told everybody not to have gay sex and abortions.
I used to love
That
these.
was it.
Oh my God.
Joe Paterno didn't tell everybody to stop having gay sex and abortions, so that's why everybody got mad at the church. They were just
critical of the churches to say don't do that, and then they go rape a kid.
obviously that was extremely hypocritical. But we're getting off into the weeds here. Tax the wealthy. Don't tax some fucking pastor up the street that drives the bus on weekends. Okay, tax.
I can say multiple things. I can say tax the wealthy and the rich. And the churches and the corporations and everybody. You could say you make a whole list of who should be taxed. It's not one or the other. I mean, just understand that Bezos is never going to pay a dime. Like I said, Bezos can have a drone fly into your house and just murk you right now on cam, and he's going to get away with it.
Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, Pat, let me ask you a question. Hold on. Pat, let me ask you a question. What do you think is politically easier for people to get behind? Tax Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and all the other billionaires, or tax churches? What do you think is easier?
It depends which party you ask.
I can tell you right now, it would be much easier for me as a party chairman, as an anything, to get.
You're speaking for all the parties. That's what you're telling me right now.
I'm speaking in general. I can probably get a better delivered message.
What about all no, Bezos is a great guy.
Can I just say
he deserves to keep it.
Oh yeah, Jeff Bezos is a great guy.
That's what they fucking say. They say
I know, but not.
I gotta say. I gotta say, I agree with Pat. It depends on who you ask. If you ask a bunch of white liberals, a bunch of white metrosexual liberals, they will be like, let's talk to churches, because your atypical white metrosexual liberal can't stand the thought of their grandmother dying because they'll have to go spend an hour in a church and a funeral. Okay, if you ask a bunch of Hispanics,
what the hell are you mentioning this? I just want to point something out. I think hell froze over because Steve and Pat just agreed on something.
Yeah, but go ahead and ask a bunch of Hispanics or Latinos what they think about tax in churches. They love church. You ain't gonna get their vote by running around and saying tax churches. What about African Americans? A lot of African Americans go to church. You ain't gonna fucking get, you're gonna go tax like, all these. There's a lot of black churches out there that are deeply tied to the civil rights movement. You want to tax them? You're gonna, good luck. You're getting 15% of the vote in South Carolina in the presidential primary saying tax the churches. Sure, you'll get every white metrosexual liberal to vote for you if you say tax churches. But if you really want to tax people, you tax the wealthy.
Tax them both.
I just want to say I haven't heard the term. I haven't heard the term metrosexual in 12 years.
Neoliberals are behind the times.
Yeah, Steve. Yeah, Steve, you're a little behind times on that one.
I'm bringing that term back.
But look, first of all, I just want to say, look, not every LGBTQ person is anti-Christian or anti-religious.
Well, I don't think metrosexual is LGBT.
I don't know.
A metrosexual basically I think it means like, you're hip.
That's what Steve
You're
called
hip.
metrosexuality.
It's just basically supposed to be like a hip, very. You'd have to look it up, but it doesn't mean gay and lesbian. That does not mean that
Well,
at all.
It's just a very old term that I haven't heard in a while. I don't
It's
know
actually
what it
not
means.
that old. It's not that old. What are we, fucking 90 here?
There was a South Park episode there was a South Park
that's
episode
like
that came out like
2000.
yeah, that's very early 2000s, brah.
Oh,
Early 2000s.
golly Jesus. Early 2000s, my God. When they had the fucking Model fucking T in fucking 2002, oh my God, that's so long ago.
Yeah, back in
All I know is-
2002 when you were a freshman in high school.
My point is, metrosexual does not mean gay. Period. Metrosexual does not mean gay.
How did we get on this conversation?
Now for the next episode, Cooking with Steve.
Oh my God. Anyway, so one last thing I want to bring up.
But there are people out there who believe that those billionaires earn that money.
Well,
and
yeah,
they don't want to see that redistributed. They're like, they earned it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Jeff Bezos got extremely lucky. So did Elon Musk. There's that old statement. Life is one half hard work. One half. Or no, I'm sorry. One half
99%
luck. Actually, that's more right. I'd say most of life is 90% luck. But
well, yeah.
I don't agree. I don't think life is 90% luck.
Really?
It's all about. It definitely is.
90%? That's a big fucking.
All right,
percent.
Realistically, more like 50. But
no, I'd say 90.
It's also how many people
I'll break
you
this
know.
really down, just using Bezos as an example. Was Bezos born in a ghetto?
He wasn't. He wasn't born.
Was he born in a ghetto? Was he born dirt poor, where he had to go weeks without eating?
Dirt poor. Yes, he actually was.
And he had to skip weeks of food. He was a starving, poor child.
There was a story out that he did actually get kicked. His parents and him got kicked out of a house they were renting.
Yes, I didn't read any of that shit.
I'll have to look it up. But hold on, I'm gonna look it up right now.
Luck can refer to the family you're born to and the time you're born to. If Bezos tried to come out with the Amazon idea, even just a little bit earlier, it could have failed. But he could also miss that window by coming out with it a little bit too late, and someone beat him to the jump. Timing plays a big role in all of it, and who your parents are plays a big role in all of it, and where you're born plays a big role in all of it. Because if he was born in Russia, he's not coming up with Amazon.
Okay. All right. Bezos. He was born in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Oh. Okay. No, I was wrong about that. All right. No, his father. I must have been thinking of somebody else. His father was an engineer for Exxon.
So he clearly had a really rough life. He wanted the purple bike.
Okay, I made a mistake. Yeah. What? There was one of the big three.
Timing.
It was born.
Timing is how it plays important. Where you're born plays important. Who your parents are is important.
Yeah.
I mean, all this is not.
Can't control. That's all luck.
But here's the thing, though. There's also a lot of sons of, oil company engineers that didn't start, companies and become billionaires. So
no, but they're not poor. They just didn't have the drive. It's not like they had the idea, but they didn't have to. They just are rich already. They were already content at where they're at.
I mean, I'm a socialist, and I will tell you that in socialist countries or in capitalist countries,
different than socialism, but okay.
I'm not a fucking neoliberal, but in a socialist country or in a capitalist country, hardworking people will still outperform people that don't work as hard in either country. Now, the thing is, in a capitalist country, if you're poor, you don't have. If you're rich, you have a leg up. So, for a poor person to become a Jeff Bezos would be a lot harder than for Jeff Bezos, a rich person, to become a Jeff Bezos. So,
You're never going to see a rag to riches story of someone coming out of Harlem and being the next Jeff Bezos. It's not happening.
Yeah, we probably won't see that for a very long time, and it's unfortunate that we don't see that as often as we should.
That's why it's luck.
Mostly
all luck.
Yeah, most of it is luck. It's also who you know.
It's also luck.
That too. I think it would be like for me, Pat or Steve, to get to know somebody who is, even, 8 figures rich would be hard. And which that wouldn't be, entirely.
You don't know me. You know what I do.
But the point is, don't despair. Life is going to get better. We just gotta have to keep fighting.
Don't tell people not to despair. They can despair if they want to.
Oh, you fucking pessimistic.
Can't tell people how to feel.
All right, so coming up on a minute 30 here, or an hour 30 here.
A minute 30? Damn.
But just want to mention, we finally have a Discord server.
We're improving on every step of the way, it seems. We're going to finally be there. Who knows? Maybe Andy's editing skills will be great.
Yes, they will
by the end
be
of the
great.
year.
Yeah. Anyway,
and he won't mess up the counting either. We're hoping he's going to learn to count as well. It's the baby steps, though.
I forgot about that. Anyway, guys, this was.
We're on Discord.
We're gonna get on Reddit pretty soon.
I'm on Twitter. You're on Twitter.
I need to start getting more active on Twitter. I didn't realize how active you.
You're not missing much.
I don't post. I hardly ever post on Twitter. I'll go on there and read what people post, but I never post myself.
Our steps, so we're hoping to grow. So
yes,
I would say
we will. If
you like us, comment, subscribe, all the other shit that all the other content creators vomit at you, and then one day we're going to be sponsored and we're going to talk about Manscaped shaving our balls. Then we'll be rich.
All right.
Yeah, we'll call that an episode, boys.
Yes, great episode, guys. Thanks, everyone.
Right.
Peace.
All right, ladies, take care.